I have my phone back! Yay! Hi friends! Happy New Year! I hope you're good and I hope you'll forgive my coming to you with a greasy head and disgusting hair. I am still battling a stomach bug that had me down to the floor, and I had 3 days off. This is my 3rd day off today, and I thought I would do so many things this weekend, and actually I was just brought down to my knees by this awful stomach bug on like the minute I got off work. I was fine when I was at work and I came home and bleh. Anyways, this is the first video of 2025. I've got my phone back, I've got my mojo back, and I know I kind of did something similar-ish in the last video that I made, which was my failure to do Vlogmas. But I wanted to come back to my 2025 New Year's artist-related resolutions and tell you a little bit of what I've planned for this coming year and how I plan to organize myself, what sketchbooks do I want to use, what do I want to do with the art supplies that I'm going to use, how I want to budget, how I want to finally launch my art business, etc, etc, etc. So I'm going to try and guide myself with the list that I've written. Grab a cuppa. I'm going to open the window for my cat because she's meowing. Okay, grab a cuppa. Let's get into my 2025 New Year's resolutions. You're the kind of person who does resolutions, but I'm the kind of person who has 1,000 notebooks. As you may or may not know, I am a stationery holder. I love all things paper and all that, so I love organizing as well. And I'm the kind of person who always has crazy New Year's resolutions, and this year I'm trying to do kind of soft resolutions. Over the years I figured out that the good thing with trying to start new habits is actually being quite flexible with it. So you may know that last year I started a few habits. One of them was making daily self-portraits, the other one was daily journaling. I've actually been journaling for a whole year now, and like daily journaling. And what I've understood works for me at least is knowing that I can miss a day and then get back on the horse. You know, I try to be very flexible with my goals. I try to not have too many strict rules, but also I try to make my goals achievable, if that makes sense. So what I've been doing for that is, for example, for my daily self-portraits, I have to make a self-portrait daily. If I miss a day, it's okay. There's no format. I have a sketchbook for that, but I can switch my technique, I can switch my medium, I can switch it up any way I want to make it easier for me to make a self-portrait every day. I don't have a fixed time. I try to do it in the morning because I know if I do it in the morning, it will be done. But if I cannot do it in the morning, it's okay. I can just do it whenever I've got time. Do you follow what I mean? It's the same thing for the morning pages. I try to do 3 pages every morning. Lately, I've only had time and energy to make 2 morning pages. Sometimes I only make 1 morning page. Sometimes I even write 1 sentence because that's the energy I've had on this day. What are you doing? She's always making a mess. Always making a mess, this one. So, let's get into my 2025 New Year's resolution. What I've written down is, this year I want to do more drawing and I want to do less buying art supplies, which I've never mentioned finances here. I do have a day job and it pays okay, I guess. I don't want to go in detail about it, but if you have questions, put them in the comments and I'll answer. But last year was actually the first year where I had loads of money, I guess, on my scale, and I found myself wanting to put some money aside but not having a plan, and also wanting to start my business and my YouTube channel and wanting to start making art again. And I bought way too many art supplies. I bought way too many things. I think it came from spending a lot of time on social media, which you're always faced with so many people trying to sell you stuff, and I just bought into it. I just bought a lot of stuff last year, which is in a way neither good or bad. It's just I'm at a time in my life where I want to be able to put some money aside, because at one point I want to buy a house, I want to start my business, which means I need to have money aside to start my business. I want to be able to maybe rent a studio place. Anyways, I need money to do stuff, and I have like more than enough art supplies. I even have art supplies that I don't use on a daily basis, which means that I have more than enough. So this year my rule is that I'm trying to do the 5 items rule. So if I want to buy stuff, I am allowed 5 stuff during the whole year, which is going to be 1, difficult, but 2, I mean, way reasonable, because and I'm not sure on one thing, so I can use your help, but I'm allowed to replace art supplies that I use when it's finished if it's something that I use on a regular basis. Not if I have anything that I can replace it with in my own art supplies, otherwise it's going to go in the 5 list. I don't know if you're familiar with the 5 list, the rule of 5, I'll link it somewhere. Something that I want your advice on. I want to start my business this year, and I know there are a few things that I need to buy for my business. Should the things go into my rule of 5, or should they go separately? Do they count as like normal expenses? I don't know. So things I'm not allowed to buy anymore. Art supplies. Craft supplies. I have so much yarn and fabric that I need to use last year, but I bought so many balls of yarn that I have a trunk next to where I'm filming. Like, I have a huge trunk, and in the huge trunk there's a huge box that is full of yarn, so I need to knit more. Anyways, so I want to draw more, I want to paint more, and I want to stop spending money on stuff that I already have and that I will not be able to use. Item number 2 is I want to do more reading, which means that I need to do less scrolling on my phone. The past 2 days I've been quite ill, so actually I've not been scrolling, but I've been playing Stardew Valley all day, so not a great start, but I have been reading more for the past year, and I think the less I scroll and the more I read, the less I'll be tempted to spend all my money on stuff that I actually don't need. So that goes together. I also want to do more knitting this year. I have so many, I'm not kidding, I have so many knitting projects. I have stuff in my trunk to knit 2 jumpers and I don't know how many mittens, but I have to knit some more. I also discovered recently that I love knitting, and I also need to knit some socks for my partner. I'm gonna put some pictures of stuff that I want to knit, or like stuff that I want to knit, something that looks like it. Tell me if you're a knitter. Do you like to knit? I love fiber art. Whenever I'm knitting, I feel like I am a magician that is creating. I feel like I'm creating matter. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but transforming this ball of yarn into a jumper or anything else makes me feel like a god. I'm not even kidding. I love knitting so much, and yeah, love it. I want to move more in 2025, like move my body in subtle ways, but also I want to build muscle. I'm very tall. I don't know if that shows on camera. I'm tall, and I've got quite the muscular back, but I've got weak abs, which means that my posture is mostly crap. And whenever I'm drawing, I'm like a little drawing goblin, and always like that, hunched like that. And also most desks and chairs aren't really suited for my height and my build. So I don't know why I'm mimicking everything I'm saying, I'm really tired. But want to build a little muscle mass, to throw my back less, because I usually throw my back at least once a month when it's not once a week. So I want to take care of my sciatica. That is good. I've turned 29 on the 12th of December, which means that this year is the year I turn 30, and it's all going downhill from here if I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing with my body. So I want to do that. Things I want to do more of in 2025. One thing I want to do more of is loving myself. I actually feel like the more I film myself and the more I listen to myself talk and look at myself talk, the more the idea that I have in my head of who I am and like the thing I see, like they start to match, and I start to not hate what I'm looking at on video. Also, I think that I'm slowly learning how to better film myself so that I don't look like too much of a goblin. Maybe a little bit of both, you know. But yeah, I want to try to stop comparing myself to others too much, and that goes with spending less time on social media, trying to see people on social media as people and not just images, you know, things like that. I feel like it would be very, very sad if I was all my life just comparing myself to others and thinking how like less talented I am, or less original, or less pretty, or you know, all that. I've been comparing myself a lot the past year without like realizing it too much, but I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself to be as cool as some artists that I see online. Anyways, so I decided to focus on nourishing my own magic this year with love and care and attention, and I think that's good. The less we compare ourselves with other people, the more we can nourish what magic we have, and the more we can support each other in that feeling sometimes out of place, you know. So I want to grow that, a little bit of support for myself so that I can be better for the community of earthlings that are here on the internet. I want to focus more on my art business this year. I know I'm talking a lot about it. My art business is at the moment non-existent. I did start this YouTube channel so that I would have one foot in starting my art business and like having people see my art, people to talk to about my art, etc, etc. What I would love to do is 1, build myself a website. Number 2, open up a shop. Number 3, which is actually number 1 that I should do at the same time as number 1, is apply for an art business license. Number 4, buy myself a new scanner, because my scanner is crap, and if I want to sell prints of my art or stickers and stuff like that, I need to be able to have high quality scans of my art. Need to buy myself a new scanner. So I want to focus more on that and less on the fear that I have surrounding my building an art business. I do have loads of fears. Like, I have a fear of not being able to do it. I have a fear of being able to do it and changing so much that I don't recognize myself. I have a huge fear of change. I have a fear of losing all my money and all my life falling apart. I have loads of fears. I can name them, I can know about them, and still take the leap of creating my art business. On that note, leave a comment if you would be interested in stuff that I would make. What would you like more? Like a print, a sticker, a Patreon subscription where I talk about my art stuff? Do tell. The last item on the list is that I want to spend more time driving. I need to reapply for my driver's license because I think my first application was lost. It's been months since I sent it in and I have had no news of it, so I need to get back on the horse, reapply for I don't know, it's a kind of serial number so that I can pass the test, and then I need to start taking driving lessons and also taking the theoretical test. So I need to start learning again about the theory of driving because I did study it for 2 months, like very intensely, and then when I had no news of my application, I kind of gave up. So I need to get back on that because one of my big goals for 2025 is getting my driver's license before I turn 30. So I now have less than a year. Like, whoop-de-doo. So yeah, then I wrote a little bit of babbling about stuff that I would love. I would love to get like 10k followers on Instagram, but I have no control over that. So stuff that I could do this year with the time and energy that I have put into buying crap stuff, too much stuff. This year what I could do is 1, finish my knitting projects. 2, start felting. I have so much wool for felting that I haven't been using at all because once I felted a tiny mouse that was so adorable, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna become the king of felting, and I have never felted since. Need to start felting again. 3, finish all my freaking Domestika courses that I bought on a whim. I need to finish them. Most of them, like I started, watched one lesson and was like, okay, next. This is money that I spent. This is things that I could do that could like improve my art skills. I need to finish these Domestika courses. I could paint on canvases. I have so many paints, so many canvases. I need to paint on my canvases. Also, I need to do more finished works with watercolors and inks. I have many watercolors, and for my birthday I've received not 1, not 2, but 3 watercolor sketchbooks or like blocks of paper. My sisters gifted me this beautiful Fabriano Artistico extra wide 100% cotton cold pressed watercolor paper. Beautiful, very textured. I've done some swatching on it, and you know it's the fancy kind of watercolor paper because it's stuck together. All the sheets are stuck together. I'm gonna have to use a tiny, very delicate knife to unstick them. Beautiful. I'll be doing finished works in that. My amazing mother got me this beautiful Sennelier watercolor block, and I'm usually not a fan of like spirals. You can see a little sneak peek of a drawing that I painted right before I got sick. Usually not a fan of the spirals, but in that case I think it's gonna be very useful for painting and on a flat surface. And I've tested it with this little gnome holding a brioche, and it's beautiful paper, really beautiful. I've been having fun on it. And the last sketchbook that I have is Werka. My Polish artist friend Werka gifted me this for my birthday. It's a Renaissance Polska watercolor sketchbook. It's 300 gram per square meter, pure cotton, acid-free. I have also done a little bit of swatching inside of it, and it's beautiful, beautiful paper. This one I will have to use it as a sketchbook, and I won't be able to, you know, to unclip the pages. I don't care. love it. It will be good to have a watercolor sketchbook. So that's one thing I can do more of. Also, I want to have a secret sketchbook this year. I know part of that is that I kind of want to tease you. I don't want to be sharing everything, so this is the sketchbook that I bought. I put a Lee Alexan sticker on it, and it's actually the same sketchbook as this one, if you can remember this one from my sketchbook challenge. It's the Monali sketchbook that you can find at Cuppa, that I did all the Edward Hopper studies in. It's the same, it's kind of cheap-ish paper. I think it's 140 grams. I have not done nothing in it still, but I want to use this for doodling ideas. I want to create more characters this year. I want to draw more stuff that comes from inside my head, and I want to try doing less finished pages in my sketchbooks or in this sketchbook, so that I have more brain space to do finished paintings on actual paper. So this is going to be the secret sketchbook. It's going to be secret. I won't be sharing it here. I might share like snippets of it on a future Patreon. I don't know. Would you be interested in that? Do tell. So that's what I'm going to be working in this year. I still have 1, 2, 3 other sketchbooks. You might know the ones. I still have my self-portrait sketchbook that I'm still using daily. This is the sketchbook that I do self-portraits in, and I'm soon going to be done with it. I only have this much left, so I'll allow myself to change this one and buy myself a new sketchbook when I'm done with this one, to continue my practice of doing daily self-portraits. So today is January the 6th, and I started this one on November 7th, so it's been 3 months and I'm almost done with it. I think I can get away with like a month and a half still. Anyways, I'll flick through it after so that you can see a little bit of what I'm doing. I still have the London travel sketchbook that I need to finish, because I started it and then I was on a roll and I did so many pages and then I stopped. So I need to continue doing it because I really want to finish it up, and then maybe, I don't know, do something with it. I still have stuff to draw. I'm there. I'm halfway there almost. Not at all. I'm like, yeah, I'm not halfway there. A third. I'm a third in. Anyways, I want to finish this with doodles from our travels to London. Ours is my partner and I still have my onion skin journal, which I used to paint a lot in, because the texture of the paper when you use paint in it is amazing. And recently I've just been doodling in it. I can show you the doodles, because these types of doodles are going to be now only in my secret sketchbook. I can show you. So yeah, these are the sketchbooks that I'm going to use in 2025. Hopefully I'm going to finish them all, because this way I'll have an excuse to buy myself some new sketchbooks. And these were my resolutions. Hope you are doing very well. Love you so much. Ta-ta. Cat hair. Cat hair. Cat hair. For fuck's sake.